All right, welcome. If you're ever going to lead anyone, anywhere, you've got to understand one thing. You'll be managing groups. But what really separates a random bunch of people from a real cohesive group? And what's the secret to leveling that group up into a high-performing team? This is honestly one of the most critical topics in modern management, so let's dive right in.
So let's start with a big question right off the bat. When you look around a workplace and see people together, are all those groups the same? And maybe even more important, is the word group just another word for team? Spoiler alert, the answer is a big fat no. And really getting that distinction is one of the first huge steps to becoming a great leader.
So here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to nail down exactly what a group is. Then we'll get into the two main kinds you'll find in any organization. After that, we'll talk about that crucial upgrade from a group to a team. We'll map out the 5-stage journey that every team goes on, and then we'll wrap up with the key ingredients for making a team truly successful.
All right, let's start with the foundation. You know, in everyday life, a group is just a few people. But in the world of management, that word is way more specific. It's not just a bunch of people standing around waiting for the bus.
Okay, look at how precise this is. For any collection of people to actually be a group, all three of these things have to be true. 1, they have to interact. 2, they have to be psychologically aware of each other. They know the others are there. And 3, this is the big one, they have to see themselves as a group. That last part, that's the secret sauce.
So why do we even care about this definition? Because as a future manager, this is going to be your entire world. Groups are everywhere. They're going to form whether you want them to or not. And here's the thing, they can either be your greatest asset, driving amazing results, or they can be a huge source of problems. Understanding how they work is how you tip the scales toward the good stuff.
Okay, now that we know what a group is, let's slice it into the two main categories you'll always find. You can think of it like this. There's the official company blueprint, and then there's the invisible but super powerful social network that's humming along right under the surface.
And this chart just lays out the difference perfectly. See, formal groups are top-down. Management creates them for a reason, like a whole department or a specific project team. But informal groups, they're bottom-up. They just happen. They sprout from shared hobbies or just people clicking. You're never going to see them on an org chart, but believe me, their influence can be just as strong. So let's look at a few examples of these formal groups. You've got your command groups. That's the most basic one, a manager and all the people who report directly to them. Then you have task groups, which are put together for a specific one-off project, like launching a new product. And committees are really just a special kind of task group, usually focused on figuring out a tough problem or creating new rules.
Now on the flip side, you have the informal groups. Interest groups might form around a shared goal, like, say, a bunch of employees who team up to campaign for better coffee in the break room. And friendship groups are even simpler. They're just people who like hanging out. They make the workday better for sure, but a smart manager knows they also have their own grapevine, their own way of spreading information and influence.
Okay, now we are getting to the absolute heart of it. We've defined groups, but the real goal for any manager is to build a team. And that's not just swapping out one word for another. It's a massive upgrade in what that group is capable of.
Remember those 3 criteria for a group? Well, a team has all of those, but it adds a fourth, absolutely game-changing element. Its members are actively influencing each other to hit a specific organizational goal. It's that shared purpose that's directly connected to what the company is trying to do that makes all the difference.
Let's just pause on this for a second. This little sentence says it all. A team is a special kind of group, but most groups, they never make that leap to become a team. A team is just a more evolved, more focused, more powerful version. Getting this is a cornerstone of great leadership you'll use your whole career.
And companies use teams in a few different ways. You've got problem-solving teams who are basically like a SWAT team for a specific issue. Then you have self-managed teams, which are given a ton of freedom to run their own show. This is a huge trend right now. And cross-functional teams are awesome. They pull people from all over the company, marketing, engineering, sales, to tackle complex stuff together.
A fantastic team doesn't just happen overnight. It's a journey, a process, and it follows some pretty predictable stages. For a manager, understanding this life cycle is like having a map to guide a bunch of strangers into becoming a single effective unit. The real key here is knowing where your team is on this map. It always starts with forming, where everyone's being polite, but nobody's really sure what's going on. Then comes storming, the conflict stage. Now, this part can feel pretty uncomfortable because people start to challenge each other, but it is absolutely essential. You have to go through it. If you get through that, the team hits norming, where they figure out the rules of the road. And that's what gets you to the goal, performing, where the team is firing on all cylinders. And finally, for some teams, there's adjourning, when the project is done and it's time to disband.
Okay, so we know what a team is. We know the journey it takes. The million-dollar question is, how do we actually set them up to win? What's the code that unlocks that high-performance level? Well, it really boils down to two big areas.
No surprise here, it all starts with the people. The best teams are filled with folks who actually feel good about their work and feel secure in their jobs. From there, they build mutual trust and open communication, which lets them handle conflict like adults instead of letting things get toxic.
But you know what? Even the best people can't succeed in a bad environment. The organization and its managers have to do their part. That means providing stable goals, being there to support the team, and recognizing good work. The team needs to know exactly what they're supposed to do and have enough freedom to get it done without someone breathing down their necks.
If you had to pick one word, one single factor that is the absolute foundation for everything else we've talked about, it's this: trust. It's the belief in the reliability, the ability, and the integrity of everyone else on that team. Without trust, nothing else works. It's that simple.
And the great news is, trust isn't some kind of magic. It's built. It's built through specific, deliberate actions. As a manager, you build trust by communicating constantly and honestly, by showing people genuine respect, by being fair, by being consistent so people know what to expect from you, and of course, by being good at your own job. This is your playbook for building trust.
So let's bring this all home. Think about the last group project you were a part of, for school, for work, whatever. Was it just a bunch of people doing their own thing, a group, or did you actually become a true team, all pulling in the same direction? Looking back, can you spot the forming, storming, and norming stages you went through? Applying these ideas to your own life is really the best way to make them stick.